Arrogance is what caused me to lose out a lot. It was arrogance. And I was still looking out for a lot of people during that time, big time. I was still looking out for people. I was getting folks jobs left and right, all kind of stuff. But it was when it was time for me to get some help or whatever like that, there was really nobody to go to but myself. Who was I going to go to? I was the quote unquote so-called street recruiter. There was really nobody I was really going to go to. I can't go to my friends. I can't go to nobody else. But I should have went to Logic. I should have went to Code of Conduct and Logic. What I should have done was went ahead, when I wasn't finding anything remote, I should have went ahead and took the hybrid thing. You know, let me tell you something that's very interesting, how things come back around. The position I'm at right now, they came to me with, I think, more money than what I'm getting paid right now. But they wanted me downtown. Now, I'll tell you something else I found out. The same thing that I was dealing with, that wasn't something that's necessarily new. And I'll expound upon that another time. But I will say, some of these things that I experienced, that wasn't necessarily new. I've got some background information that I found out. But now, neither here nor there, they wanted me to come downtown. I talked to another agency that was a smaller agency. And sometimes when you're a contractor and you're dealing with smaller agencies, they can offer you a higher rate. Why is that? Well, why can Audis offer you a higher rate? Or not a higher rate, but why can a cheaper rate? Why does Walmart offer you a cheaper rate? Why is it cheaper to shop at Sam's Club and Costco? Volume. They have a lesser volume of people. They have people that's a smaller payroll. Damn it, man. Fuck. Every time. It's always some phone call that's coming in or something like that. And it stops the video. It shuts the video completely down. You could be in the, so, I'll edit that part out, so I could get my monetization or whatever. So I'm trying to change my words without, I don't even feel like doing this stuff if I can't say what I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? But YouTube got this thing now where they, so if you say something, so now I got to use the F word or the SHI, the AS, I got to do all that because I want to, you know what I'm saying? So truth be told, y'all, I don't even want what I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. I'd rather get, so anyway, agencies naturally, and that's just economics. I'm a smaller company, so I can offer you a higher rate. Our company overhead might be 5-10 people at max, right? And then several people, small companies, as you know, they will share certain positions. They'll share certain work and they'll share certain positions. So they were offering, I think they were offering what this other company is offering that I've been talking to, or more. I can't remember how much it was, but it might have been like, at that time, I think they wanted $46.50. I don't remember what it was. Now, I think when I received this email early 2024, I was still remote doing API support. And then I found out that was supposed to go, it was supposed to go till June. But what happens with a lot of these managed service companies, especially the ones that are Indian based, and I'm not saying anything derogatory towards the Indians, but here's the thing. They had this thing called global collaboration, something, basically in so many words, we're going to lay y'all off. We don't need you anymore because I came in and I standardized the team. And the people that were kind of up under me, they're like, oh, well, we don't need DP no more. He done came in and he done stood up the system and he done integrated the software. And I'm like, oh, well, damn, man. Maybe I should have took more time. But I kept wondering why they kept pressing people on on what they call the immunization records and health records. For My Chart, or Like My Chart. It wasn't My Chart. It was Like My Chart. And I forgot the name of what the app was, but this company bought a My Chart application from another company. So I'm like, all right, this gonna carry me all the way till June. Didn't happen. They ended that in January. So I said, I'll just take this little BS help desk position. I'm gonna be transparent with y'all. I thought, well, let me just grab this and let me find something else on the side. Didn't work out. So instead of basically, and let me tell you how Minnesota unemployment and all that stuff works. If you're there within 1 month and you're like, well, hey, this ain't working, this rate ain't working or whatever, you can roll out. I didn't play my cards right. So I left money on the table. Long story short, the hybrid situation would have been a better offer. So now that was something that was a logic decision. That's a logic based decision that could have been made. Bad decision, DP. That was a bad decision. I had to take that on the chin. All right, so nigga, 100 down the drain. You ain't getting nothing else for a minute. So I enrolled in a Cisco program. And I started doing the Cisco CCNA, which I should have did the cybersecurity one first. I'm getting all these different interviews. I'm still trying to do this remote thing. Then I realized that ain't gonna work. So I found out a company that installs cameras. I said, I'll do that temporarily. So I started doing that. Until I found something that was remote. So yeah, for the better piece of 2024, because I said, all right, I can stay in this Cisco program, but I said, no, I'm falling too behind. I said, I'm not just going, no, I gotta get something. So I just went ahead and I went back to work. I wasn't getting unemployment or none of that. So, you know, I'm taking my ass back to work. So I'm just going to have to bite the bullet and lose that 100K. Cause see, that's how I look at it. If I'm not somewhere, if I'm making 100 to 150 to 200, and then all of a sudden everything just goes to hell, I'm losing money. Some people look at it, oh, that's a break. No, it's not. I'm a grown ass man. I ain't need to break that damn long. No, absolutely not. Hell no. I done lost. I took an L. This was the biggest L that I done took in 25 years. Yeah, I can admit that. I said, no, this is an L. So when people say, man, that was a break. You had a break. No, that's not a break. That's an L. I don't know what y'all thinking. That's not a break. So, swallow my pride. I said, man, I'm going to get out here and work and go to layer 1. You're dealing with cabling, cameras, all that kind of stuff. So that was the company I told y'all where the folks stole my lunch out in Burnsville. I said, well, this says a lot about this place. And they were backing those folks. I don't know who would steal somebody's lunch. So someone stole my lunch. And I said, okay, Then the coworker dropped a pair of pliers from the bus and it landed on my damn foot. I want to strangle his behind. Oh, my bad, man. And I said, okay, yeah, me and this dude gonna have some problems. But see, supposed to have the steel toe shoes. Got to take that L too. Didn't have my steel toe shoes on. The company was going to give us the steel toe shoes. They were supposed to provide us with that. We weren't really supposed to be out there without them. So did that, started doing, with that. And I had no intention on just staying there. And this company, it was owned by a brother. I'll say that. And they did stuff with a lot of state departments and stuff like that. So some of the things that had happened in regards to what happened on the site and the way that it was handled and all that, I get swallowed it because the brother owned the company. And he didn't know anything about it. So that was just me being all cold. I said, man, he ain't got nothing to do with it. He didn't know anything about it. This is a brother that runs this, this is a good running station outside of all the other stuff. I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make it no, you know what I'm saying? So, I said, I'm going to take it as this a step getting me back to where I need to be. That's all. So, cause I could have, for that right there, for that happening with that tool, we were supposed to have, now I didn't have no major injuries or whatever the case may be, but yet and still, you're not supposed to have people out there. And had that been a heavier tool, I probably would have just went to the hospital like, man, I'm about to check my foot. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not supposed to have stuff dropping, especially from a bus. And dude he was like one of these, he was kind of like a klutz dude, and he just, put it like this, if y'all was around the dude, you wouldn't really like him. If y'all work with the dude, you would not really like him. He's one of those guys that, like when you go out to lunch, he want to argue with the women at the Subway about why they ain't got the sandwich meat no more and all that kind of stuff. And he want to get into and doing all that. He's kind of the person that you will not hang out with outside of work. You know what I'm saying? I'll say that. You're not going to hang out with that dude outside of work. You be done end up checking his ass or something like that. So, I knew me and him weren't really going to get along too well. And then he's up there bragging about being a system engineer and all this network engineering stuff. And I'm like, dude, we doing this. You wasn't no Cisco network engineer, dude. Like, so, but outside of that, I said, well, let me just go ahead, install these cameras, and then find another remote second shift. You know what I'm saying? And I did. And at that place, let me close this. And at that place, I ended up working for an ISP company, which was pretty janky. You know what I'm saying? It was, I don't normally do that kind of stuff, but like I say, I'm the remote option. Let me tell y'all something. This is another thing that I've been seeing in like the news, some news articles that I saw about one of the reasons why black folks want to continue to work remote, because it shaves off some of the mistreatment to a certain degree. So now this environment, I knew I'm not going to learn anything. This is temporary as well, but it got me working second shift. That wasn't that hard. You know what I'm saying? So it was like help desky, a bunch of calls, but it was second shift, and it was more of a rural conservative environment, Midneck America. So they're not going to hit you with all that flim flam, but you working with, so this company, every now and then I had to go out to, not too often, part of their their thing was installing fiber. Their thing was installing fiber. That little clip, that video clip I did where I was talking about 4 months. 4 months. It was 4 months ago when I was interviewing downtown. So I might put that in this clip. I might put that up in there as a reminder. So it's a little breezy downtown. I'm going to let y'all know the update really in almost 6 years. Seriously, like